as you lead us, Your Excellency, the future of Kenya looks certainly. All right, guys. Welcome to Edutainment for us. Today is a MASHUJAA day for you. If you don't know about it, this is a day people actually showcase their dances. As I told you earlier, depending on the county that is hosting the dances, then you go to it. So today, let's just dive into the specific cultural aspects here and see through. We see through the dances that were performed during this day. All right. And maybe share out what is your thought about the entire thing, because it took a while. Okay. Yeah. Is in this one. I don't know. They are so expecting the government to make a change, even when they themselves are not even ready to effect any change. If you like saying, you go tell those headers from. And then ta, move, ta. So it's gonna be like this. Yeah, so of course, looking to the analysis of the day, what happens is that we normally see performances varying from the mere choir, and when they are practicing this, or rather performing them, they are normally songs which are more of panegyric or patriotic songs, actually to show loyalty to the nation. At the same time, praise some leaders here and there, and also show what the country has done. As I told you earlier on Facebook page, MASHUJAA Day is meant to celebrate the moment of historical moment, that is the people who participated in gaining our independence. Earlier on, it was focused on Kenyatta himself alone, plus the Kapenguria 6. But then it moved from that when the Constitution was reenacted in the Constitution 2010 was reenacted. So the changes were made so that they had to appreciate other heroes as well, not just Kenyatta and the Kapenguria 6. So they integrated in those people who are doing courageous movements and contribution towards education, health, and other sectors, even agriculture and maybe sports and so forth. And they also had to engage possibly the people who are currently maybe outstanding. And I believe possibly having had the burial of Raila Odinga yesterday, he becomes part of the MASHUJAA. And remember Wangari Maathai having been fundamental in planting of trees, and many more other people maybe who have done towards sports and so many other sections. Of course, Magoha and maybe Ogola and so many other people, of course. And I saw a discussion during the morning hours, people trying to ask, why would they only appreciate political individuals or maybe people within the social realm such as sports, and forget that there are those mere individuals within certain villages or grassroots who are actually also contributing towards the growth of the nation. So anyway, we are going to go through an analysis of different areas. Of course, I'll be showing and at the same time talking, and as we proceed into this. So let's start with the choir entries, and after we watch, we'll be talking about it to see how significant or relevant it is in relation to that day. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also watch. So when you analyze that specific entry, so when you check on that kind of item, of course, it's a typical of a choir. And from the specific stanzas, what they have been doing is actually to show pride in the heroes or heroines in the country. So from the different stanzas, they've been saying that they are proud about these heroes as to what they did, the contribution they made towards the country, and in relation to this specific day, creating that independence and also contributing towards different aspects within the country. However, when you look at their performance, as you've just checked on some parts, you typically see a perspective of the ancient way of presentation. And as far as it's entertaining, majorly it's geared towards communicating or giving a given message to the people, maybe currently who are growing up or maybe working in the country and such. Let's get to a different group and see again what we'll get out of it, and we can proceed to the rest. That is Kenya Airways Choir. All right, looking at the second team, of course, you see a lot of blending right there, and the costume is more traditional. Of course, the first group also had some blending of the Maasai plus the just general outfit, and they are actually focused towards praising also and showing pride in those who've done whatever they've done, but they are also preaching the aspect of patriotism from the wording they have used right there, and trying to show what they are proud about those they are trying to praise in their song. Now let's get to the third team right here. Tulikotoka ni mbali, sasa wana Kenya tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu, tusherekea bado tuko imara leo wana Kenya, tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Safari rahisi lakini wana Kenya tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Mara nyingi tumehisi kukata tamaa, lakini wana Kenya tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Tukitazama tulikotoka ni mbali, sasa wana Kenya tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Tusherekea bado tuko imara leo wana Kenya tuko hapa kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Kenya ni nyumbani, makao yetu ya milele. Kenya ni nyumbani, tuwajibike tuilinde. Kenya ni nyumbani, makao yetu ya milele. Kenya ni nyumbani, tuwajibike tuilinde. Siku zimepita, asante. Nzuri, ndoto zao zilitimia. Ni wajibu wetu kuilinda nchi yetu katika kuendeleza maendeleo ya taifa letu. Kuilinda Kenya ni jukumu letu sote. Tuishi kwa amani, pendo, upendo na umoja. Kuilinda Kenya ni jukumu letu sote. Tuishi kwa amani, pendo, upendo na umoja. Kuilinda Kenya ni jukumu letu sote. Kenya ni nyumbani, makao yetu ya milele. Kenya ni nyumbani, tuwajibike tuilinde. Kenya ni nyumbani, makao yetu ya milele. Kenya ni nyumbani, tuwajibike tuilinde. So far, out of those three choirs, you've seen this is a unique one, outstanding, very good harmonization, blending, articulation of words, and even the costume, or rather the dressing, was to the point. So, and when you listen to the words, they are not just praising, but they are calling upon Kenyans to actually maintain peace, unity, harmony, and focus towards the growth of the nation. So if I was the judge, I would actually have already ranked this as number one out of the other three. But I'm not saying that the other three have to be disregarded. They still played the role in relation to the day. But let's see more. And after that, I want to show some other stuff, because I'll be coming with another video to analyze on the events related to the planning, or rather before. But meanwhile, let's get to the dances that were being performed here. Of course, I saw a lot of Nyangaluke around here. So let's check on some of the aspects, especially from the performance. Then we can turn back and check on the arrivals and the plane and all that. So, of course, the day was dedicated towards Shujaa Raila. If you check on some of the parts, it is majorly that. But we'll skip on the other parts of the speech, which will integrate with something else and talk about it in our analysis. So if you understand what a reaction means, as a niche that YouTube created for us, we are doing a critical analysis, or rather reaction, right here. So be blessed as you continue listening, or rather watching. So let's check on this and see the part of dances. And enthusiasm guide za kitaifa. Karibu sasa kwenye kipindi kifupi cha burudani chini ya kauli mbiu. Now, the previous songs that I actually played were played under Citizen as historical commemoration. But now these ones are the live performances that were done at Kitui currently, because the other three were just a commemoration that was done elsewhere, recorded, and then played in the studio, because Citizen was covering a lot of these events. All right, so let's get to it. Kwa mengi zaidi, wacha sasa niwakaribishe wenzangu Beatrice Gatonye na Boniface Msambi kutuelezea kuhusu burudani. Karibuni. Mheshimiwa Rais, karibu Kitui nzini, yani karibu Kitui ndani. Hapa ndipo makao makuu ya wachezaji gitaa motomoto ambao hata hucheza gitaa kwa meno. Na hivi leo Mheshimiwa Rais utapata fursa ya kuwaona wasanii mashuhuri wa hapa. The person who introduced everything said that this is one place where people play even the guitar using their teeth and anything else. So of course here, through entertainment, they focused on unique culture based on the people from north, the eastern, not actually north, but from the eastern front. Of course, we know a lot of performers who come from this environment, so let's just check on different performances here. Wakiwa ni pamoja na MCA wa Tharaka Mheshimiwa Muthengi Ndagara. Pia tutakuwa na waimbaji wa nyimbo za kitamaduni kama vile ngwani traditional dancers na wenyenyo kacharo. All right, so let's start with this. Mtindo wa Kinze Mheshimiwa Rais. Aidha tutakuwa na makalacha muziki wa gospel kama vile Steven Kasolo, Stella Mengele, Dekea Mudaka, Mbuvi maarufu kama Kwata Kawaya, Justus Mielo na wengine kibao, wakiwa ni pamoja na Kitui Teachers Training College Choir. Lakini kabla ya wasanii hawa Mheshimiwa Rais, mambo mawili. La kwanza, tunao watoto takriban 520 kutoka shule mbalimbali hapa Kitui ambao wametuandalia mashairi na michoro ya kupendeza tu inayohusiana na kauli mbiu ya sherehe za Mashujaa mwaka huu. Watoto hawa wako chini ya Janet Langat kutoka Wizara ya Elimu, waelekezi wakiwa ni Shujaa Erika Muhaya, Faith Mbote, Hezekiah Ogira, Suleiman Salim na walimu wa kaunti hii. La pili, kama tujuavyo, taifa linaomboleza kufuatia kifo cha aliyekuwa waziri mkuu Jacom Agwambo Tinga, Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, ambaye alipumzishwa hapo jana. Hivyo basi, ili kumuenzi kupitia kwa ruhusa yako Mheshimiwa Rais, katikati mwa kipindi cha burudani hivi leo tutatazama video ya mwenda zake Raila akiimba wimbo aliyouenzi. Lakini kabla ya hayo yote, sasa watoto, uwanja ni wenu. So let's check first on the children performance. And of course, this is a common song for Kenya as a patriotic song. Anything to do with Kenya has goes along with this song. Nimeziweka mbele yako, bibi yangu na watoto, nimewaweka mbele yako. Tabu zangu, shida zangu, ziangalie Kenya yangu. Tabu zangu, shida zangu, ziangalie Kenya yangu. ewe Kenya inji yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, ewe Kenya mama yangu, sitakuacha milele.
Hivi sasa wanapoingia wasanii hawa tajika, naomba kwa heshima Mheshimiwa Rais tuelekeze macho kwenye runinga ili tufunguliwe dimba na hayati mwenda zake Raila Amolo Odinga akiuimba wimbo alioupenda Farewell Jamaica, wimbo ambao umeimbwa na Don Williams. Tumtazame akiuimba kwenye gita.
Of course, so while observing the kids, this is a normal tradition. It happens that during such a day, children will practice, and most of them come from around Nairobi. I don't know this time how they picked the kids, but there are kids who come under the Ministry of Education. The Ministry actually goes tells specific schools to train, and they train together meticulously for a period of 1 month or such. And when they go to the performances during such a day, they create very, we call this aesthetic movements. If you looked at what was happening right there, you saw the exact movements and patterns. Very unique. Actually, they need a very high level of choreography for somebody to manage all that. And most of them are communicative, sometimes communicating the day itself, creating shapes that will come out with the word heroic or Heroes Day, or something to do with MASHUJAA itself. So if you looked at the pattern clearly, if you are very maybe keen and detailed about your focus, maybe you saw something of that sort. So of course, given that the day just came after the fall of Raila Odinga and burial, they decided to dedicate it towards him, and they brought under entertainment the song he used to sing a lot before he passed on. And of course, you saw yesterday this song was trending in most of the on most of the social media platforms. So let's just look at it before we have the Kasolo, Stella, and many other people performing. And I really loved the performance, very vigorous movements, right? Yeah, so let's check on this.
Video. It was really my favorite. And my best is the Jamaica Farewell.
How does it go?
Round the Bay of Mexico, where the sun shone daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop, but I am sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a days. My head is down, my head is turning around. I had to let a river little girl in Kingston town. On the way of Mexico, where the sun shines daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop, but I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a days. My head is down.
Okay, so it goes without debate or controversy that Raila Odinga was very loved most of his life, of course. Even those maybe who at some point had different feelings or reactions later because of one thing or the other, at the end of the day, they still said they had lost it. So it was very wise during this event to recall him and appreciate his life. All right, so let's now go to the next performance and we will be analyzing it one-on-one. So that is a traditional performance from Kitui among the people from Eastern, that is the Kamba people. And I've seen a lot of this performance happening in the music festivals, or rather cultural performances, most of the times. So of course it has to be contemporized. From its aesthetic or traditional aspect, they had to add in some aesthetics of current times to make it appetizing. Because now when you look at the audience, we have a mixture of audience right here. So you cannot only use the traditional dance, but you have to mix in the current one. Now the Kilumi drums are right there, and you can also see the flutes and the shakers, very significant in the Kamba dances. And also the whisk, very essential. Now, most of the time, if you look at the traditional performances, they normally have the skirts that are made of sisal skirts. We'll have to skip some parts of this. Now actually you hear the beats or the tunes that are typical of the Eastern region. And I think you can see that movement of ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta. So the aspect of 4/4 is happening to come out if you remember the musical aspect of what we learned within music itself. So you realize the ta-ta-ta-ta movement that is happening right there. And therefore, you get to acknowledge the authentic aspect of the Eastern, or rather the Eastern aspect of what is going on right there. So let's continue establishing some things here and there. And also consider to look at the audience and how they are actually getting the interested in this kind of dance. The quick movement must always be there, because when you look at their music, actually it's not moderate, but it's speedy. The tempo is quick. Now, the aspect of shaking, if I might make you recall, the aspect of shaking among these people is different from the Luya, possibly. Look at how they shake. Now here they had to bring in the musicians who come from this region. Of course, it's one of the aspects that is expected, and during that day they are sometimes paid for whatever they have done. So let's look at this. I may be forced to actually pull down the specific music itself, let you watch that dance. So the reality is that in this kind of dances, for those, some of you have gone to Musi dances, you understand what is normally supposed to happen here. You are supposed to make sure you are shaking your legs at the same time, the entire body, and you release, actually fully release it, so that while you're dancing, you're freely dancing, like you are kind of wiggling kind of thing. And that is why you can see from my title, I've written there, wiggling dances on a MASHUJAA Day. All right, so let's continue looking at this. And also I want you to pay little attention to the instrumentation. The guitar that is played here is uniquely from this region of Kenya, because most people, you ask me about Kenya, maybe people think that Kenya is a blanket, but unfortunately or fortunately, Kenya has diversity. We have different regions, have different people. As you can see, the 47 counties, actually those 47 counties are established around different people. Automatically, when somebody calls, it affects on my visibility, but it is what it is. If you understand the tingo, you get it. So we'll proceed anyhow. So from the analysis of this part, as I've told you, I really enjoy every music, from whether it's Kenya, Africa in general, or even abroad. As long as it has the rhythm or tune, I don't give a damn. So here, of course, I've really done a lot of this dancing, especially when I have friends from Eastern aspect, and whenever I go to the city, there's no limit. I just have to enjoy, all right? So let's get here and see. Maybe one of these days I'll be showing you one time when you're at Musi night around Jogoo Road or somewhere there. So let's check on this and see what is there. Of course, they are saying that Kenya is very good when they say Kenya Nesa. And you can see the leaders right there, some of them standing to dance. That's appreciation of music, means you stand and join them. And you can see these are major performers from East Kenya. Some of the politicians are right here dancing a lot. and even the president himself right there dancing to these tunes. When you see the president standing and dancing, it means everything is well. All right, so the young girls are also doing the wriggling right away, and some of the audience you can see standing and joining in the music. Now I want you to pay attention to these dancers, Kasolo and who else? They were really dancing big time. You can see Ichungwa, Kimani Ichungwa right there, and Rachel, as they try to see the Ichungwa Stadium of KITUI. There's a lot of wind blowing right here. So sometimes I wonder in Africa when you dance and people are like, why should you dance? Dancing is part of exercise. It's dance of showing. Also you dance to show your happiness and excitement. So nobody should limit you on your happiness, because everybody has their way of exhibiting their happiness. And if your choice is dance, why not? It doesn't have an age, actually. Dancing doesn't have an age. It doesn't have a limit. As long as that is what you love, just like we had Millie Ojambo telling us, let people judge if they want. After all, whether you do whatever you do, people will still talk. So what? Yeah, so of course you see some people standing in the crowd to join. That is Stella for you. Rachel shaking a little bit, but somehow tight, because from the culture where she comes, people don't exhibit their happiness that openly when they are in a crowd. If Millie Ojambo was here, of course there could be a big difference. Now the Kamba dances also tell you to shake your head. You shake your head at the same time you are shaking your body. So you look at some of the dancers here. Men most times shake their legs, sometimes their head, but women have a task. You see how the young ladies are dancing? Now, I normally really love how these people actually exhibit their love for music. It's coming to rain. Look at that. This is how this guy really dances. I don't know how he really shakes his head, and he's okay with that. So exciting, right? Look at that. Look at this also. He exhibited his energy all together here. Okay, so they are talking about we should celebrate our day because everything is fine and our country is fine. So when you listen to the wording, that's actually what they are saying, because I stayed with these people for around how many years, and I understand their language. I may not be able to speak it, but I know when they speak whatever they are saying. So you see actually how the people are wiggling right here. Very interesting, right? And as I told you, this is the whole body shaking. No jokes. Jokes aside, right? Welcome to Kenya. It's a country with happiness and excitement. So all that is welcome to our own county. Here it's our Ukambani land. And you can see from the crowd, people enjoying and having the fun of it, all right? All right, that's the chorus for you. Of course, we are gonna get into other performances right there. So the entire performance was over, I think, by that time. And the rains are here, so I'm supposed to go indoors again. Alright, let's get indoors. The rains are going to spoil my computer.
The Honorable Speakers of the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly and the Senate, the Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court,